Happy Sunday, Who Dat Nation. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. And in today's show, we are doing a fan-led mock draft. So on our most recent live show earlier this week, we had the Who Dat Nation in the chat, voting on the live poll, voting via Super Chats. And I let y'all make all of the picks for an entire 7-round mock draft for all 8 picks for the New Orleans Saints. So I'm going to break them all down. I'm going to give you my reaction, and I'm going to give you my analysis. So without further ado, the first pick that the Who Dat Nation had us take was tight end Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. And I know a lot of people in the chat right away when this happened, it was very split of I love it or I hate it. Like pretty much the general consensus was this is a Mel Kiper type pick. And Mel's mocked him a couple times to the Saints. But in terms of scouting Michael Mayer, he's actually a very impressive athlete. He's very versatile. He plays inline, plays on the slot, he can play out wide, he can do all sorts of interesting things, and he can be a very useful weapon for quarterback Derek Carr. Now, he will have some drops. He's good for a couple drops a season, but overall, he has really, really good hands. And he has 17 contested catches, which is pretty solid, it's great, actually, and then a 65.4 contested rate or contested catch rate percentage, if that makes sense. He's also a very quality run blocker. He had an 82.1 PFF grade. The pro comp for Michael Mayer is actually Jason Witten. And a lot of people are saying that Michael Mayer is pretty much just the most complete tight end in this draft. You know, there's Darnell Washington. That's also been mocked to the Saints quite a bit. But I think that Michael Mayer would be a very solid option for the Saints. Now, in the first round, you know, it's kind of tough because I think that there's more important positional needs, such as defensive interior. And in this fan-led mock draft, Kalijah Kancey was off the board, Brian Bryce was off the board, B.J. Ojulari was there, but the Who Dat Nation wanted the tight end out of Notre Dame. So Who Dat Nation, I want you to be the GM for me now. What position would you have drafted in round 1? If you were in the chat, if you were in our stream, what would you have done? Would you have still gone with the tight end? Would you have gone with a wide receiver, quarterback, defensive line? Let me know. I'll be curious as to what you guys have to say in the comment section. So next up on the draft at pick number 40 was B.J. Ojulari. Now, the former LSU Tiger, in terms of his scouting report, it's pretty impressive. He's a good athlete. He has really good bend and really good burst. And on top of that, he plays above his size in the run game. Now, he's not that great in coverage, and the power isn't great. That being for his run defense and his pass rush, but that being said, he can still do a lot of really, really good things. And, you know, the Tiger, I don't know about this, guys, but I would love to bring in B.J. Ojulari. I don't know about whether or not it's going to be a great fit or if he's even going to be available at 40, but I think that it would be an awesome move for the Saints to go and make. 58 tackles last year, 5.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 49 QB pressures. He was a big reason why the Tigers defense, especially in this latter half of the season, was able to do so much damage and take down some very competitive teams throughout the NFL or the NCAA season last year. So I wouldn't hate B.J. Ojulari, but I don't know if he's going to be available at number 40. But like I said, it's a Who Dat Nation mock draft, so we're going to react to it. Now, this mock draft was made possible by ZBiotics. They're an awesome sponsor, and trust me, if you guys like to go out and have a good time on Bourbon Street, you're going to want to get geared up at ZBiotics. You're going to get 50% off if you use our promo code CHATSPORTS. So today's Saints Now is sponsored by ZBiotics. Now let's face it, after y'all hit me with a bunch of super chats, I don't bounce back well the next day. That is until I found ZBiotics. Now, ZBiotics is a pre-alcohol probiotic, and it is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking, like a crazy night out on Bourbon Street. Now, here's how it works. When you drink alcohol, it gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut, where you need it most. Drink ZBiotics before drinking alcohol. You know, I will say, please drink responsibly and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. But ZBiotics can help you do just that. Now, give ZBiotics a try for yourself. Go to zbiotics.com/chatsports to get 15% off your first order. When you use code CHATSPORTS at checkout, ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Now remember, head to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use the code CHATSPORTS at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, ZBiotics, for helping us out today and sponsoring today's video. And it's easy as 1, 2, 3. You have a ZBiotics, you go out and have a good time drinking responsibly, and you wake up the next morning, you're feeling fine and dandy, ready to talk some Saints ball, ready to talk ball, ready to go cheer on your Saints. Unfortunately, not the Pelicans anymore, but needless to say, ZBiotics is the place to get your stuff and get your recovery started. So let's go back to the mock draft. My favorite pick. I feel like I can't make a draft video without talking about Tyjae Spears. He's my guy. He's my guy. The Tulane running back is an animal. He is my top draft pick. If the Saints do anything, if you please just come out of the draft with Tyjae Spears. I don't know if he's going to be available in the 4th round, and honestly, I'm willing to take him in the 3rd, and I don't hate that the Saints fans had him go in the 3rd round at number 71 overall. Now, he's explosive, and he has a lot of big plays, and he had phenomenal production for the Green Wave last year, and we'll take a look at that in a second. He is a 3-down back, he has 3-down back ability despite being a little bit smaller. Now, there is room for growth in the pass protection, and he doesn't have a ton of power, but what he lacks in power, he makes up for in pop. He's going to get you plays, he's going to get you yards, he's going to get you touchdowns, and he's going to be a big reason why your offense succeeds. And so here's my dream running back trio. I've shown this graphic before, but I just love this graphic. I love looking at it. I love the idea of having these three be a 3-headed monster for the Saints. Now, you could have like Boom, Zoom, and Doom or something here. Like, it would be kind of sick. I think it would be really dope. And my point being, I want Tyjae Spears in New Orleans so damn bad because he had 229 carries, 1,500 yards, 19 touchdowns. And if you need any more reason, you're like, you know what, Trace, I like him, but I don't love him. I just encourage you to go look at the tape from the Cotton Bowl against USC. He lit it up, was a freak, was clearly the offensive MVP, clearly the MVP of the entire game, and that's why I want him. He's from Louisiana. Get him! Spam TS in the comment section, please, because I want Tyjae Spears on the Saints, and if you want him there too, get on the Tyjae train and type TS in the comment section. I'm going to type it at least 40 times. That's just me. Try and beat me, why not? So let's go to the next round. At round 4, number 115 overall, the Who Dat Nation selected Ivan Pace Jr., the linebacker out of Cincinnati. Now, if you don't know a ton about Ivan Pace Jr., here's just a little bit of a rundown on him. He's very, very strong. He is one tough SOB. He seeks out contact, which I personally love for a linebacker, and the dude is a gamer. He's a baller, and he's going to make you eat your breakfast. He is very, very powerful, and he has remarkable instincts. The guy eats his bowl of Wheaties every week before the game, and this is why I love him so much, because the feet and the athleticism, he's able to seamlessly slip blocks, and he's able to go and create pressure. He's able to be a wrecker and to cause problems. I mean, when you take a look at the stats, what? 4th round guy putting up these numbers? Are you kidding me? It's because he's 6 foot, 235 pounds. Sure, he's a little bit undersized. But this guy, I haven't been this impressed with tape in a very long time until I watched Ivan Pace's tape. He hits hard. Y'all know me. I'm an Arkansas Razorback through and through. I went there for school. He was a big reason why Arkansas struggled in the first half during the first game this past year when they were playing against Cincinnati. Ivan Pace is a monster. He is amazing. I love what he is able to do with the Bearcats, and I would love for the Saints to go get him in the 4th round. So now let's go over to the offensive side of the ball again. In round 5 at number 146, the Saints fans, our subscribers, had the New Orleans Saints selecting Bryce Ford-Wheaton out of West Virginia. And so he is a quality player. When he had he had 62 receptions for 675 yards, 7 touchdowns, just under 11 yards per catch. And on top of it, he's one of those guys that you have to just love watching. He has great tape. He has great ability. He's 6'4", 221 pounds. He has a big frame with a massive wingspan. And he's a jump ball specialist. He can go get some of those contested catches. That being said, there's a lot of good with Bryce Ford-Wheaton. There's also a little bit to be concerned about in terms of he is a boom or a bust guy through and through. That being said, I wouldn't hate taking a gamble on him because when you take a look at the combine results, a 4.38 40-yard dash, 1.5-yard 10-yard split, a 41-inch vertical, and the 3-cone drill, 6.97 seconds. It's not bad. It really isn't bad. And I would love for the Saints to go and get a guy like Bryce Ford-Wheaton because I think he could help out alongside Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Michael Thomas, Juwan Johnson, and the rest of the wide receiver core, including Brian Edwards, who was recently signed. So let's address the defensive interior. Now, I know that this is probably very late for when some of y'all wanted the Saints to go and address the defensive tackle. So I want to ask you this before I give you my breakdown on Brodric Martin, the defensive tackle out of Western Kentucky. Who's your dream defensive tackle draft pick? You know, it could be anybody in from the 1st to the 7th round. I don't care what round it is. Let me know who your dream defensive tackle draft pick is. Y'all know me. I love Kalijah Kancey. I think he would be a phenomenal addition. Brian Bryce, also an interesting prospect. I don't know if I want to take a gamble on him, but the show's not about me, it's about you, so let me know. So let's scout Brodric Martin. He was a very good run stopper, and he has good run stopper upside. There's nice length, there's good size, and there's good power there. He doesn't move all of that well, to be fair, and balance issues are a thing here. So it's one of those things where in the 5th round at number 165 overall, sure, it makes a little bit of sense, but honestly, I would have addressed this draft earlier, or I would have addressed this need earlier. And when you take a look at what he was able to do last year for Western Kentucky, 31 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and a forced fumble, not bad, not great. I don't think that anybody would be mad if we got a defensive tackle earlier in the draft. But again, at the end of the day, it was y'all making the picks, so don't get mad at me. All right. No 6th round pick, so we're going straight to the 7th. Max Daddy Duggan at round 7, number 227 overall. So let's scout Max Duggan because I know y'all know the name. I know you've seen the player. I know you've seen what he can do. This kid is one tough son of a gun. Sorry, I almost said it. I know my mom watches this video, so my bad. He's very, very gritty. He has a lot of attitude. He has a lot of swagger. He is going to put his nose down, and he is going to play football. And in this day and age, you don't get that a ton, especially in the quarterback position, which is something I love about Max Duggan. And that's probably the biggest thing that people had to say about him is how tough, how gritty. He's a dog. He's a gamer. He's going to take hits. He can get a little reckless with it for sure, but he's going to get beat up, and he's still going to beat you. And I love what he was able to do. He's a great leader with a good enough arm, not a great arm, which is why you see these stats here, 63.7 completion percentage, just under 3,700 yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. There are accuracy issues, especially when there's issues under pressure. And throughout his entire collegiate career, he never passed 65% completion rate. That's not like terrible considering what's going on. But again, at the end of the day, I think that there's better options. But in the 7th round, man, like you're flipping a coin anyway on whether or not these guys are going to even make the roster or be a valuable asset. So, why not have him be the 3rd stringer behind Jameis Winston and Derek Carr? I don't think it would be a bad pick. I wouldn't hate it. I just wouldn't be leaning on him to be a starter anytime soon. That's just me though. So the last pick in the Saints Who Dat Nation led mock draft is my guy Bumper Pool. Bumper is what we called him at Arkansas. So I actually kind of know this guy. There's some good stories that I have, hanging out and having a good time with him up at school. Great kid, awesome football player, very, very fun to watch. And that Razorback defense was one of the biggest cores to the Razorback football team's success, and Bumper Pool, one of the starting linebackers, was a big reason for that. He was next to Drew Sanders. Drew Sanders, obviously, a guy who's going to go in the 1st or 2nd round, but I think Bumper could be kind of a low-key sneaky pick. 92 tackles, 2 sacks, 4.5 tackles for loss, 3 pass breakups, for the Razorbacks last year. He's from Lucas, Texas. Shout out to this area, DFW. I grew up around here as well, so don't hate. That being said, it's a 7th round. Who cares? It's just the last pick. It's the third to last pick of the entire draft. So, I mean, if you wanted to try and do a Brock Purdy kind of thing, Max Duggan is definitely the guy that I would have taken. Hot take, I don't really like Stetson Bennett. I don't really want him. He also has off-field issues, which I don't want to bring into my locker room because the Saints have a notoriously strong locker room. But let's break down the mock draft recap that you, the Who Dat Nation, picked. Michael Mayer at round 1, number 29 overall. BJ Ojulari at number 40 overall, the edge out of LSU. Tyjae Spears, we're riding the Tyjae train all the way to the damn Super Bowl for the next 20 years, I promise. At round 3, number 71 overall. I hope that pick comes in, and I hope that we get to have some fun on draft day with Tyjae Spears. At round number 4, number 115 overall, Ivan Pace Jr., the linebacker out of Cincinnati. Then we head over to the 5th round. Bryce Ford-Wheaton, wide receiver out of West Virginia. We're at 5th round again at 165 overall. Brodric Martin, defensive tackle out of Western Kentucky. Then you have Max Duggan out of TCU and Bumper Pool in the 7th round. And just before we ask you this question, I want you to take a look at especially the first 4 picks. And hell, I'd even loop in Bryce Ford-Wheaton to it. The first 5 picks. Saints fans, y'all know ball. Y'all know ball. Again, maybe you go get a defensive tackle earlier on, but that's not how it panned out. That's not how the draft simulator ran it. This is just what it gave us, and this is what you picked. So, Who Dat Nation, I want you to grade your own mock draft. Y'all made the picks. I was over here just reacting and saying who was available, so I want you to grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F. I especially think those first 4 and 5 picks, A+. Maybe you go get a defensive tackle, but I love it. I would overall give this whole draft a B+, no questions asked. It was a great draft overall. You addressed some needs. You were able to bring in some quality talent. You're even able to sneak away with some mid-round guys that I think could be very big game changers. But Who Dat Nation, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We'll be back tomorrow with more content. Y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time.